Here you will see the crazy amounts of damage we can dish out with that Hyper Voice, guys. We go in deep under this point, man, with that Unite move, and we're pretty much just diving the enemies between two of their points, man. I finished this little Odino real quick before I join my team once again, and it doesn't stop here because we are just melting this Snorlax's health bar. The vegetable is a little bit confused, jumps in deep. The dragon jumps in deep as well, and I'm just dishing out so much damage. You saw Charizard's health bar completely deplete right there. We are on a triple kill, on a quadra kill, and we weren't able to get that Sylveon at the end, but beautiful, man. Yo, you're watching Shurkou, we're back with some more Pokémon Unite, and in this video we will be checking out the NERFED Sylveon once again. I already showcased the Mystical Fire nerf. It actually is a pretty big damage nerf on that. I believe it was 36% less damage at all stages in the game, which again is very formidable. This time we're gonna be checking out the Hyper Voice, which might actually be the better build right now for that Sylveon, because it was only nerfed by 20% damage, and you will see in this gameplay it will still deal crazy amounts, man. We will still be one-shotting enemies, but always keep in mind the Hyper Voice is much more difficult to use, is much less safe, whereas the Mystical Fire is super easy. It just aims onto the enemies and it gives you that jump every 2 seconds or something late game, which is still really formidable, of course. Before we get into the rest of the build and the moveset and stuff that I'm running here, make sure to subscribe, ring the notification bell so you don't miss any further Pokemon Unite content on this channel. Now let's get back into it. As you can see, we get ganked a little bit. I have my Hyper Voice already. I am dealing a ton of damage. I go back in just to poke a little bit, and so my team can finish up that Talonflame. So we're already starting off the early game super well. And keep in mind, guys, Sylveon level 4 gets that evolution already, becomes insanely strong at level 4, and I think what they really wanted to do with this nerf is nerf it especially in the late game, because it was always falling off a little bit in the late game if you ran that Mystical Fire build. But now you can really feel it. You can really feel how it's still an absolute monster, and the broken in that mid game with the Mystical Fire build, but then late game it falls off. Whereas this build, the Hyper Voice, I believe was always intended to be really strong late game, because it just ramps up so much damage late game. Early game you can already see I'm dealing a ton, I'm definitely very powerful, but late game it really ramps up even more. You spam that Hyper Voice like crazy, and as you can see we go for the Calm Mind, because I really don't think Dazzling Kiss, is it Dazzling Kiss? Draining Kiss, there we go. Draining Kiss is too good with the Hyper Voice, because what Draining Kiss does is it bounces that kiss between you and the enemy, healing you and dealing damage to the enemy. But if you're melee range, the bounces are much quicker because they have to travel a shorter duration. But with Hyper Voice, you're never really in melee range. You're always in that set distance, trying to be there. And as you can see there onto that Charmeleon, we try to hit that cone there, that what was it called? Trapezoid? Probably not. It's like a section of a donut. Okay, there you go. That's what we call it, because that's actually very accurate. And yeah, you want to hit exactly in that section, because that's the bonus damage. And then the Draining Kiss just feels a little bit weird, feels a little bit clunky with that. Whereas the Calm Mind just feels much better, because it accentuates your damage even more by buffing up your special attack. And late game it makes you very safe, because it gives you that dodge potential at level 12. When you upgrade the Calm Mind to Calm Mind Plus, you can avoid a full move from the enemies and get a huge shield on top of that. So I'm a huge fan of this build. Works super well, and as you can see we're able to hit the Hyper Voice really well. We do so much damage right there. Here I'm gonna poke once again, and I'm gonna soon use that Unite move, and we will use it beautifully to dodge this Snorlax knockup. As you can see, beautiful timing, man. We completely nullify them, and then we can pop out so much damage once again, man. The little Sylveon dies to the Crustal Stealth Rock right there, and I end up dropping as well, but my team gets that Dreadnought, and we are super well set up for this match, man. We're in a really good position. And again, this build strength is in the late game. And you will see, once again, in this Master Rank gameplay, especially in the late game, we will be popping off, man. You've already seen the intro clip. It was so much fun, man. I don't know, they did a good job with this release. I think this Sylveon is super cool, super well designed. I think they also did a really good job. He died while he was charging his Unite move. That was actually really funny. Super lucky on my part as well that he just barely died before the Unite move came out. Otherwise, I would have been dead. But yeah, I think this nerf was really good because Mystical Fire was obviously much better than the Hyper Voice. And now it's a lot more in line. Again, Hyper Voice might be better now. I just really think Mystical Fire is probably still better. Simply because Jungle Sylveon seems much better than laning Sylveon, because you come out level 4 instantly out of that jungle, level 5 even, but you have that Mystical Fire, you jump into the lane, you still deal ridiculous amounts of damage, and you will still just snowball hard. And a main critique point that I got in my previous Sylveon video by you guys is that I had a huge level lead, so that's why it seemed OP. And listen guys, this is truly a Pokemon that can always get that level lead. If you play even decent on that Mystical Fire jungle build, you will always be 2 levels at least ahead, okay? And you will always deal that insane damage. You will always overpower the enemies completely because you just have such a crazy jungle clear still with the Mystical Fire. You jump around constantly as well, traveling through the jungle, which makes your full mobility around the map faster as well. So it makes your jungle clear even faster because you're traveling between the camps much faster. And yeah, you will always have that level lead. You will always be able to dive the enemies at their, you know, 3v2 under the tower because you just out damage the heal of the tower. The level 4 of this Pokemon is still completely cracked out, so I really still think it's really insane in the jungle. But if you go into the lane, I definitely think Hyper Voice might be better now. If you like to play your Sylveon in the lane. Honestly though, very realistically, what I will do personally, because it's very good that both of these builds have the same held item build. Again, in my opinion, you go for the double special attack glasses, which are Wise Glasses and Choice specs. No special attack specs, we're not going to score that much with this Pokemon. No score shield there, no room for that in the build. And then for the third held item, we just go for that. As you can see, man, here I'm level 13. I really start just powering up hard right now, and the Hyper Voice is just dealing so much damage once again. Yeah, as I'm saying, the third held item is just gonna be that body barrier, you know, that is already plenty of defensive stats. Once again, lots of people saying you should go for the focus band instead of the Wise Glasses, but I just disagree. You can go for it if you are a beta soy boy. I'm just kidding. If you like to play a little bit more defensive, I just really like to have my build super aggressive, so I like the extra damage. And yeah, that's what we do. So both of these builds have the same held item build for me, so I really just decide before the game, you know. You have to, the thing is, one of them, or this build, uses eject, the other one uses full heal, but you can use full heal with this build as well. It is okay, you can use eject with the other build as well. So basically what I would do, do the enemies have a lot of assassins, you know? Speedsters, lots of mobility that you will never keep in your Hyper Voice, in your damage donut of Hyper Voice. Then go for the Mystical Fire. Do they have a lot of tanks, a lot of bruisers that are kiteable, like that Machamp, like that Charizard, like that Charizard to a lesser extent, but like that Garchomp especially? Then go for the Hyper Voice, because you will deal much more damage to these characters if you are able to hit them. Do they have a lot of ranged attackers that are super easy to take down if you are a speedster? So yeah, if you have that Mystical Fire, you can just run them down. Then go for the Mystical Fire. Again, I think they did a great job here. I'm super happy with what they did with this nerf once again. And Hyper Voice, again, I was very adamant about telling you guys that Mystical Fire was hugely superior to the Hyper Voice before this, but now I think it's in a pretty decent spot. I still think Mystical Fire Jungle Sylveon is the best way to play it. But this one, if you are in the lane, if you're not going to have that level advantage, you know, if you're not going to be able to melee range all the time, this build is a lot safer because, again, you can you're going to be on the outskirts of the fight. It's safer in terms of you don't have to have a huge level lead to do very well, because you're not going to be able, you're not going to be tanking a lot of the enemy's damage if you play well. But if you make a little bit of a mistake positioning wise, the speedsters will absolutely one-tap you with this build, so make sure to be careful, okay? But as you can see, man, that was a crazy game, especially in that late game. We were able to just dish out so much damage, guys, and yeah, it's just so fun, this Pokemon, man. I'm a huge fan. Again, I'm simping this Sylveon all the way. Definitely one of my mains. It might even beat out the Lucario and Greninja. I'm telling you guys, it is so much fun for me. I love how it has two viable builds as well, just like that Greninja and Lucario have as well, you know. I just love these Pokemon where you can really just go different styles. And yeah, as you can see, we did a ton of damage. 27%, 84,000, not even that impressive. We even got out damaged by the rabbit, but definitely still very formidable. You feel the nerf, but it is still a very, very bonkers, broken, strong character. But definitely not as problematic as it used to be, so it's pretty comfortable to play against it. It's pretty comfortable, you know, to see it in the games. We don't see it every game anymore, so once again, huge success, in my opinion, this nerf. Let me know what you guys think about this Hyper Voice Sylveon in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe, ring the notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!